So what do Dan Henry, Frank Kern, and Pat Flynn all have in common? And here's a hint. It's the same strategy that other creators like Amy Porterfield and Melissa Griffin and Chandler Bolt use to sell more courses and get more members for their paid communities and their programs too. But don't worry, this isn't just for the upper echelon, the elite upper class of digital marketers and course creators. Because before Dan Henry had the business he had today, or has today, he used the strategy and tools I'm about to give to you to make his first $10 million. And he even says that we helped him do that. So now I'm not saying that if you do this, you'll make $10 million like Dan did. But what I am saying is that we've taught over 18,132 other creators the same exact strategies that Dan used to launch his business. And we've seen consistently better results if you follow our playbook. And we've seen creators consistently struggle when they ignore this one fundamental principle and these 5 simple tactics. So what's the principle? Well, it's pretty simple. You need to give people a reason to buy from you now. And there's no better way to do that than adding a deadline to your offer. But no, not all deadlines are created equal. In fact, there are 5 specific deadline types that we use in our companies that we're going to show you. I'm going to show you in this video. We're going to peel back the curtain, show you under the hood. And they are the same deadline types that we've taught to more than 18,000 customers that we've served over the past 7 years. Now, some of those customers that I mentioned at the beginning of the video have used this strategy, and others who you probably have never heard from but are running profitable businesses using these strategies. So let's dive in to the 5 types of deadlines you can use in your business to get more customers and boost revenue. My name is Gabriel Ryan, and I'm head of revenue at Deadline Funnel and Voma, and I've spent the past decade helping companies like Agora Financial, The Motley Fool, and Morning Brew get more leads and customers. And if this is the kind of training and strategy you've been looking for to grow your business as a creator, consider subscribing to our channel and smashing that like button. But for now, it's time to get practical and tactical. So let me share the 5 types of deadlines that we use in our companies and that you can use in yours too. And you're going to want to stick around to the end because number 5 is probably the easiest and fastest way for you to get more sales from your existing lead flow. Plus, I've got a free resource in the description that I'll share more about at the end of this video to literally get our playbook. You can copy and paste it into your business and instantly get more customers from the traffic hitting your checkout page. So, what's the first deadline type and what's the best way to use it? And here's an example of what that first deadline type looks like. Can you see what's going on here? You've probably heard this or heard it referred to before, or if not, and this is your first time hearing about it, this is what is called a tripwire offer. Now, Ryan Deiss of Digital Marketer and Scalable has really branded this name, this type of an offer as a tripwire. And what it's really meant to be is that when somebody enters your funnel and after they opt in, on that very same page, you're offering a very short deadline, usually 15 minutes or less. The Hustle used this really well when they launched their product called Trends, which was a paid newsletter where you had 7 minutes to get, a special deal, a special price for this offer. It was kind of like a flash sale, a just-in-time type of offer. And tripwires are great. They're a great way to activate, especially with a lower priced offer. So if you're using a tripwire, try to keep that deadline really short, under 10, 15 minutes. It's more like an impulse type purchase, like when you're checking out at the software, or not at the software store, you're checking out at the grocery store and you see, magazines and candy and all the stuff that they have. There are lots of people who spend a lot of money and a lot of time figuring out where to put those items on the shelf, what items to put on those shelves, because they are these impulse type purchases. That's exactly what a tripwire is. Now, you're going to need some type of way to trigger that when somebody shows up on that page, so when that deadline expires, because there's nothing worse than a fake deadline. And, we've seen this time and time again where you just refresh the page and the counter starts all over again. So you don't want one of those. You want to have a real deadline, but give someone a reason to buy right now. That's the first type, but it's not the only. There's 4 more. And the second, let's get right into it, is very similar to the tripwire, but with a very distinct difference. So I want to show you something here on screen and tell me if you can see the difference between what's going on with the tripwire versus this offer right here. I think what you'll notice is this is, while it's based on the opt-in, still happening in the same flow, somebody opts in and then they land on your offer. We call this an opt-in to offer. And so what you'll actually see is there's not a 10 or 15 minute deadline on the thank you page like there might be with a tripwire, but instead you're making a very soft call to action on that thank you page and you're following up with email. And you might give people a little bit more time on this opt-in to offer. You might give them 24 hours or 48 hours, maybe even up to 72 hours with an opt-in to offer. And this is something where when somebody joins your list for the first time, what's the best thing that you could offer them right then and there, and give them a deadline, but also make sure, just like with the tripwire, that there is an authentic reason, a real reason why you're giving them that deadline. So it doesn't seem phony, doesn't seem fake. There's a genuine reason for, hey, you're a new subscriber, go ahead and jump in, and I'm going to give you this special deal. We've all seen this on e-commerce websites where it's like, hey, join our mailing list and get 10% off your first order, or get this special coupon code. That's exactly what opt-in to offer is, and that's why so many online retailers and e-commerce stores use this type of an offer. But if you pair it with a deadline, it's even more effective. So the second type of deadline, again, is an opt-in to offer, where as soon as somebody opts in and joins your newsletter, your mailing list, opts into one of your email forms, you go ahead and make a special offer. You follow up with email over a 24 to 48 hour time frame. Now, the third type is probably what most people are familiar with when you're thinking about a deadline, because it's a really great way to launch a new business or validate a new offer. So if it's a new product that you haven't sold before, or new variation of an existing product, you might use this strategy to vet it out. In fact, a lot of people will even sell something before they create it. You might sell a course before you create it to see if in the market there's actually enough interest. And so what's this kind of deadline that works really well with these kind of offers? Well, it's a live launch. So a live launch is usually around a specific date. Hey, today, February 17th, I'm launching this thing, and on February 24th, we're going to close down the cart. There's plenty of businesses. Now, Jeff Walker, who wrote Product Launch Formula, is probably like the godfather of the live launch. He started his marketing days in the stock trading world, and then went into kind of marketing and business education. But really, if you look at Jeff Walker's model, it really is a matter of kind of taking a single sales letter, which usually you would, include all of the reasons for someone to purchase your product, and he would string it out over a number of days into a live launch. And then at the end, he would give people a deadline at the end. We've got creators that we've worked with, like James Wedmore, who does this really, really well, where he's doing live launches, opening and closing down programs. Jasmine Starr is another one who does this really well, opens and closes enrollment on different programs. And so a live launch deadline can be a really great way, especially to validate like a new offer. All right, so that's the third type. So we've got two more left. Number 4 is kind of like the holy grail of deadlines, and you're going to be excited about this one. If you can make this work, you really have the opportunity to kind of scale your business. And then number 5, like I said at the beginning of the video, is probably one of the easiest, simplest, kind of like most instant type of deadline offers that you can install into your business to see results right away. We're going to get into both of them. But if you're getting value from this, go ahead and smash the like button, hit subscribe. Would love to get you more training and tools like this if you're a creator looking to get more customers and boost revenue in your business. But let's get into number 4. So what's number 4? Number 4 is an evergreen deadline. And the beauty of evergreen means that you can give somebody a personalized deadline depending on any specific action in your funnel. So if you think of your customer going through a journey, some of your customers are going to be going through their journey faster than others. Some might come into your world and they are ready to buy right now. They've got a problem, you can help them solve it, and they're ready to jump into your course, into your membership program, to hire you for your services. They are ready right now. And then you have others, they're really just exploring. They're like, okay, I know I've got a problem, or I want to solve this thing. It's not super urgent, but I'm just kind of fact finding. I might go through things a little bit slower. They might be a little bit more methodical. And the beautiful thing about evergreen deadlines is you can meet individuals exactly where they are at. And so what that means is you might have somebody that's already purchased a product from you, or has been on your list for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, even 5, 10 years. And you can come back to them with another offer based upon a specific action. One of the best ways to use evergreen is once you've done number 3, what we talked about, a live launch campaign to launch a new offer. Once you've realized, oh, this is something that the market wants, that my customers love, how can I turn this on autopilot? Because let's face it, let's be honest, live launches take a lot of energy and a lot of work to get up. Now, they can be great and really profitable ways of bringing surges of cash and customers into your business, but it can be exhausting if you're on the live launch hamster wheel time and time again. So the holy grail is to be able to automate that, to get sales while you sleep. And so once you've validated an offer with your audience, you can take those same elements from that live launch. Let's say you had a training like a webinar or a masterclass that you were doing. You can go ahead and put an opt-in on that so that whenever somebody jumps in to your masterclass or your webinar, whether they're coming from social media or an email, they're an existing customer who's bought something from you before, or they're brand new in your world, it doesn't matter. As soon as they hit that opt-in form, they get dropped into an evergreen automated funnel that might go over the course of 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Most deadlines, and this is a question a lot of people will ask, especially around evergreen deadlines, is how long should my deadline be? The answer, like in most things with marketing, is it depends. But where we see the most success is usually like a 3 to 5 day, 7 day max deadline. Usually shorter deadlines are better if it's a lower price product and it doesn't take as much salesmanship to overcome objections. If it is a little more significant, you might want to extend that deadline, and you may even want to include some things like kind of a hybrid of evergreen and a way for people to reach out to customer support or your team to assist those sales to come over, to get them over the fence before the end of that deadline. So that's number 4, an evergreen deadline, something that you can have running 24/7, 365, that the second somebody enters a specific phase or stage of your funnel, they're given a deadline, a special offer, a reason to make a purchase now. All right, so number 5, saving the best for last. Like I alluded to at the beginning of the video, this deadline type is probably the simplest to install in your business and is likely to see the fastest results. In fact, we spent months in one of our companies going back and forth on how and whether or not to add this type of deadline campaign to one of our core offers. And as soon as we did, within a month, we saw a 22% boost in conversions, recapturing all of those previously lost sales that were abandoning cart. And that's exactly the 5th type of deadline. It's an abandoned cart deadline. So would you be surprised to hear that 91%, up to 91% of the traffic that is coming from social media, from Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it, any social, Facebook, any social media platform, is 91% is likely to abandon cart, meaning they will start to fill out your checkout form. They'll put in their name, phone number, email, maybe they're starting to get out their credit card, and then they stop. That means only 9 sales are getting through. 91 you're missing out on. Now, from other channels, it's lower. Social media is certainly the highest, but you still can see in most funnels up to a 60% abandoned cart rate on average with all channels mixed. And by adding an abandoned cart deadline, you can recapture some of that. And we saw a 22% boost just by doing that. Saw a bunch more customers coming back and signing up for our software once we added that abandoned cart deadline. And all you have to do, it's really quite simple. If you've got that built into your checkout platform, obviously we have that built into Voma, which is our checkout platform. In fact, if you go ahead and hit the comments below or look for the link below, you'll see where you can actually get our abandoned cart saver playbook. It's totally free. You can actually copy and paste the exact emails that we use in our business to get people back and get them off the fence and bring them back once they've kind of abandoned cart, and get them to sign up for our software. You can do the same thing in your business totally free. And whether you're using our tools or not, the strategy still works exactly the same. It's worth getting that playbook. But the way an abandoned cart deadline works, quite simple. Once somebody starts to fill out your form and starts to purchase your offer, if they don't complete that within a certain amount of time, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, all you want to do is you just want to tag that lead, tag that subscriber, so that you can drop them into an automation and send them 2 or 3 or 4 simple emails. We send 3 over the course of 2 days. That's all in that abandoned cart saver playbook. We show you the exact emails that we use, how we build the automation, and the timing of everything, and what to include in those emails to do an abandoned cart deadline campaign. Again, probably the simplest to install, because it's just a matter of saying, okay, like, let's tag these folks and send these 3 emails over the course of 2 days if they abandon cart. And you stand the chance to see very similar results to like what we saw in our business when we saw a 22% boost in conversions. So at the beginning of this video, we shared a little bit behind the curtain of what creators like Frank Kern and Dan Henry and Pat Flynn and Melissa Griffin and Amy Porterfield and all these kind of big names are using, that are also being implemented by the over 18,000 customers that we have served with Deadline Funnel and Voma. And that's one simple principle, which is to add a deadline to your campaigns. Give people a reason to purchase from you now, and you will see more conversion. You'll see more customers coming back if you actually give them a reason to get off the fence and make a decision, yes or no, now. And that there are 5 specific deadline types that you want to implement in your business. And what are those 5 types? So you have the tripwire, that kind of like instant flash sale type of offer. You have the opt-in to offer, when somebody jumps onto your list or subscribes to your newsletter for the first time. You have the live launch, which is a really great way to validate a new idea or get a new offer or a new version of an offer out there. Then you have the holy grail, which is the evergreen deadline. That was number 4, the evergreen deadline, where you can automate all of this and get sales while you sleep. And then you have probably the simplest to install, and it's like every business on the world should have this one with number 5, and that's the abandoned cart deadline. So those are the 5 different deadline types. So if you want to get our exact strategy on that deadline strategy number 5, the abandoned cart saver deadline, then just go ahead and hit the link in the description below, and we'll send you our exact playbook. You'll get the 3 emails that we use, our strategy, the training on exactly how to do it. You'll be able to have this thing up and running, by the end of the day. So go ahead and grab our abandoned cart saver strategy, and we'll see you in the next video.